Alireza Firouzja is one of the best players in the world. In this video, he will play the same opponent 3 times, but the interesting thing about this video is you won't know who his opponent is until the end of the video. We're going to go through 3 games. Throughout the video, I'm going to make clues as to who this player is. First up, we have his opponent against Firouzja. This game was played a few years ago. D4, knight f6, c4, g6. And we have the King's Indian defense. And now h3, this fancy move. Stop anything coming to g4, getting space as well. Strike in the center, and now typical moves in the King's Indian. You're controlling dark squares. Bishop g5, and now knight a6, planning to put pressure in the center. Typical way to play in these kind of blocked positions. Bishop out, and now knight d2 is it's a typical way to set up. A couple of knights here defending your space advantage. So far so good. Bishop out, and g4 getting space, and c6 with this pawn break. Black is given a chance to get the queen out, and that's exactly what happens. Queen b6. You can't move the queen here because g4 drops. You can't move the rook here because there's this very interesting tactical shot with bishop g4, which looks impossible because the queen and the bishop actually defend it. But it's because of this tactic coming up that's possible. Knight d3 check. All of a sudden, Firouzja is attacking that spot with king here. That's mate. So the best move is king up. Now you take the pawn on f2 and then you attack everything. Knight g4, black is winning. So going back to the game, after queen b6, his opponent actually had to take the knight. You can't play f3 because that will drop. So it looks like something's already gone wrong for his opponent. Take. Queen c2 now. Getting space, hit the bishop, and it drops back. So notice at the moment, even though this bishop is trapped, later on, if a pawn break is possible, black is going to be able to control lots of dark squares. h5, a3, b3. And here we go again. That's what the King's Indian is about. If we look at the pawn structure, you control lots of dark squares. Knight goes to a6 and then it comes to b4. If we look at white's king, it's terrible. There's no good spot. And this position is so difficult for white to play because there's no good pawn break. A capture happens, well, so what? The h file is open. If this happens, you're going to take back with a pawn. And there's no other good pawn break. King f1 played, and now f6. It looks like Firouzja is in charge. Take, and the funny thing is, Firouzja now takes because there's checkmate on this pawn. Check, king h8. This is called an umbrella pawn, where you use your opponent's pawn as a shield. It would be ideal if this pawn wasn't there, because then the rook is actually in the game. Black is now threatening mate, so rook h2 defend, and after rook f4, the guy resigned. So many threats. Rook comes here, the knight might come in later, the queen is always on f2. This bishop can come in as well, and you just had enough. If we turn on the engine, we click on engine here, you can see it is +3. There's just so much pressure. Knight here, the rook can come in, it's too much pressure really. Yeah, it's so difficult to move. g4 is now a threat as well. Attack the knight. Take. You can even take back with a pawn. You can even do this. It's not even that bad. Queen here. Well, just g4. It's probably over, man. Probably over. Absolutely crushing victory. Next game. So this time, his opponent had white. We're actually going to take it from his opponent's perspective. This game was played in 2019. On chess.com. First up we have a Sicilian. We have a close Sicilian. Knight e2, threatening to go d4 but not today, and now d3. This is the close Sicilian. You've got all your pawns in the center. Structure here. Bishop here ready to castle. Rook b8. Black plans to get counterplay quickly. So his opponent stops it with a4. And now castle. Now b5 is possible. Firouzja went e6 first to control lots of squares, and then bishop out. And typical move, because d4 might be a threat now, so you actually fill the gap. Knight d4. There's a really fancy move here with b4. Wow. Just want to show you guys. Never saw this option. b4 is possible. Check. Well, you take this way. Right, and if this one, well, you take with a knight. Yeah, I think I get it. Because here we got this beautiful attack. That's going to fall as well, and there's a lot of compensation. A lot of dark square control. Can't do this. Right, I see. That's a beautiful idea. Let's turn it off. So back to the game. Knight in, queen up. Typical move. Throwing h5, h4 in. Look out for this option in your own games when there's no knight here. So if the white knight was here, then this is not actually a great way to play h5, h4. So it looks like Firouzja, who has black in this game, has got some attack going. Couple of weird knight retreating moves, which is typical in the closed Sicilian. The knights actually come back. Now the reason White went for this is because now you have a chance to kick the knight away. Can't go here because of this. The knight goes back. Now the knights actually come back in the game. And now his opponent gets d4 in. By the way, one clue to who this guy is. He is one of the top Chinese players. d4, take, take. Have your guesses ready by the end of the video. So it looks like this guy has found a good pawn break. d5 is a threat. Capture happens, take, take. Bishop c4, and still d5. Now, what's Firouzja going for? Well, he went for this tactic. And the cool thing is, it doesn't actually work. His opponent now takes, sacrificing a rook for a bishop. Take, take, take. Take, take, take. You might be thinking, well, what's he done? He's just down a rook for a bishop castle, and it's all about getting that piece in the game. Knight g4, and white is now totally winning. Knight is going to come in on the dark square. There's no good way to block it. There's no queen move to trade. Totally winning. f5 to attack the knight, but now check, and now this move. Really fancy move in my opinion, because it's quite unusual. You go forward and then you come back with the knight. So knight h7, you attack the rook, and then now, instead of even knight g5 check, queen in first, and then, well, actually he keeps the knight there. That's even better. Use the queen, come in, hit the rook, and now the knight comes back. Check. Really beautiful maneuver here. Just want to go back a few moves just to show you guys what happened. 1, 2, 3, and then it came back, and then it came back to f6, and then here. Check out the journey from the knight. It goes here, the queen comes in here, now that square is available. Check, check. So a beautiful journey, and his opponent actually outclassed Firouzja in this game. The rook comes off, and using the pin on the e-file, takes that pawn as well. Check. That's just a spite check, it does nothing. There's no check here really. The guy stops it, and now stopping the guy moving, you attack the rook as well. Rook e1 pin, every move just wins, and now you just march it home. Firouzja resigned. This game took place in 2018. So we have a Sicilian again. Now knight e2, and then it becomes an open, take, take, and we get this classical Sicilian line. Bishop g5 is possible. It's one of the critical ways to play. It's called a Richter-Rouser, but his opponent went g3. Now we get a dragon, and the structure now completely changes. Take, take, and bishop out. Bishop there, and now b3. So it looks like we're going to match double fianchettas. Very rare to have this in a game. I'll take white here because you've got your isolated pawn here, and that pawn could be a weakness if e5 is possible, but that's just my preference. Queen in the game, rook to the center, and now here. If we look at this move, c5, it does open up the bishop, but that square is now possible for white to come in. So e5 now. e6, he does control d5, but e5 breaks up. If take, I think we can take and then take here. So that, I think, loses everything. Here, here, boom, boom. And you are just down a piece, so we can't do that, no way. So e5, really strong move. Knight g4. take on d6. So something's gone terribly wrong for black. Bishop d4, hitting f2, take first, and now knight e4. Maybe this is the move he missed, but it's an absolutely brilliant move, can I just say. It's an absolutely brilliant move, knight e4. Another option was rook here, but this is such a brilliant move. And the reason is because you sack a piece. I didn't see this when I first was flicking through this game to select an opponent for this video. You give up the bishop. Now what's the point of this move? c3, you trap the bishop. It's now offside. The guy saves it. Firouzja saves it, I mean. And now queen comes in. Now, even though you're up a bishop, you're going to be so weak around dark squares. And also that knight doesn't have a great home. f5 you defend it, but knight g5. That's coming. That's going to drop. That's a passer. That's out the game for now. c4, he tries to bring it in, but b4. The guy locks up. Bishop tries to come back in. Take on e6. Attack the rook. And then take. Hit the queen as well. Now if we go back, why didn't he, after this, why didn't he move the rook? Probably just d7. It's just too strong. You get control of the queening square. If here, probably knight c5. Yeah, cool. Yeah, no good moves for the rook. Yeah, there's no good move. Here, I think that's worse. You just push. I like this one as well. Really cool. I mean, who cares if you're up a bishop when that bishop is trapped on b2? I mean, it's a beautiful sacrifice from this guy, who I'm going to reveal very soon. Bishop b2, we take, attacking the queen. Doesn't even take back, because that's a check. Winning the bishop. So queen there, but it's totally over. a4, beautiful move. Because queen c4 check, beautiful move, man. Absolute crushing victory. Knight f2, doesn't matter. Because after this, I mean, so what? You get your queen back, but now you're going to be down too much. And Firouzja resigned. So even though Firouzja won one of these games, the other guy beat him twice. I was searching for the matchups. These two players have actually played 10 times. And I wanted to select 2 crushing victories against Firouzja. Going to be down too much now. And yeah, keep the knight, why not? And then you just queen it. Cool. Time for a quiz. h4 has just been played. Do you remember what Firouzja played in this position? Each move, I'll give you 5 seconds. There's going to be a timer shown. Firouzja now played queen b6, because then he's attacking this, and then there's a tactic here as well, as we saw in the game. And here, the guy actually took, and then the game carried on. Next key moment in game 1. King f1 has just been played. How did black continue here? Firouzja now opened up with f6. It didn't matter that the guy took, because now take. You attack f2 anyway. We get your umbrella pawn, and then later on the guy resigned. First key moment from game 2. h4 has just been played. Firouzja launches the h-pawn. Do you remember what white played now in order to get at this very strong central knight? White played a typical retreating move in order to kick the knight away, knight d1. And after this, he kicked it away, and then later he just got the knights back in the game. Next key moment, knight d4 has just been played. What did his opponent play here? Looking at the pressure on this knight. His opponent sacrificed the exchange. Beautiful attacking idea. Take, and then we saw this. And now, beautiful move. Knight now comes into g4, and it was just too strong. In the third game, rook e2 is possible to defend, but do you remember what brilliant move his opponent played here? In order to sort out this uncomfortable pressure by Firouzja. The brilliant move was knight e4, sacrificing the bishop on b2. Beautiful move, man. Absolutely beautiful. Shutting out the bishop. It had to go, and then queen f4, and then the guy just totally crushed Firouzja. Knight in, shut out the bishop, come in, attack the rook, attack the queen, and game over after this. 2, you are just down way too much material. Absolutely brilliant move in the final game. So here we go. Have your guesses ready. He is just down way too much material. That's why I was laughing before. That is a clue to the Chinese player. It's not Ding Liren, it's not Yu Yangyi, but in the 3 games presented in this video, Firouzja was playing against Wei Yi, one of the top Chinese players. I hope you guys enjoy this type of video. Let me know in the comments if you want to see more of this type where Alireza Firouzja is involved in Guess the Opponent. If you guys want to stick around, check out YouTube's choice here, or we have my selection over here. Thank you so much for watching.